On modernly equipped but traditional ocean-going fishing vessels, fishermen begin their journey to catch halibut using the long line technique, a method that requires patience, a thorough understanding of the sea and extensive combat experience. First, fishermen choose a suitable fishing area, usually deep and cold waters, where the seabed has soft sand or small gravel, an ideal habitat for halibut. Then, they prepare a long line system, often tens to hundreds of kilometers long, with thousands of hooks attached at regular intervals. Each hook is hooked with live bait such as herring, squid or small sea bream, attracting halibut, which are known to be sensitive predators on the seabed. When everything is ready, fishermen gradually lower the line into the sea, using buoys to mark the position and weights to keep the line close to the bottom, where halibut often hide and wait for prey. The entire line system is carefully anchored to prevent drifting with the current. During the waiting time for the fish to be hooked, which can last from several hours to half a day, fishermen maintain regular monitoring of the position of the fishing line via GPS and radar systems to ensure safety and efficiency of fishing. When it is time to retrieve the line, the crew works continuously and urgently, using semi-automatic line reeling devices to pull each section of line onto the ship, checking each hook meticulously. If a flounder is found hooked, they will quickly remove the fish, often using thick gloves and specialized pliers because large flounder have strong resistance, flat and slippery bodies that are difficult to control. The live fish are put into cold water tanks to keep them fresh, while others are quickly killed using humane techniques to maintain the quality of the meat. During this process, fishermen must constantly adjust the speed of the line pulling. Being careful of other unwanted fish or bait that has been nibbled. After all the fishing lines are collected, they will sort the flounder by size, mark them and store them in a deep freeze compartment. This is a stage that requires close coordination between members, because large flounder can weigh up to several dozen kilograms and require 2 or 3 people to handle. Fishing with long lines not only helps to preserve the quality of the fish because it does not cause shock or damage to the body, but also limits bycatch, minimizing negative impacts on the marine environment. At the end of the fishing trip, the entire output is recorded, counted and strictly preserved to prepare for the journey back to the mainland, where the fresh flounder will be processed and distributed to markets around the world when the ship leaves the fishing grounds. All the halibut caught are neatly arranged in insulated containers with strict temperature control. Maintained at -1 to -2 degrees Celsius to ensure that the fish meat does not lose its freshness. At the same time, the captain and the fishing team leader will summarize the output, compare it with the original plan and evaluate the effectiveness of the trip. From the amount of halibut that meets the standards to the rate of unwanted fish caught on the hook. This data is recorded in detail in the voyage logbook, not only serving management purposes but also as valuable reference material for future trips. While the ship is moving, fishermen begin cleaning the fishing line system, removing damaged hooks, and replacing worn sections of line due to rubbing against the seabed or being pulled by large fish. This maintenance is extremely important to ensure that the fishing line is always ready for the next fishing trip. Because even a small weakness can cause dozens of hooks and precious flounder to be lost while reeling in the line. Inside the ship's hold, the logistics team will recheck the condition of each fish box, add ice if necessary, and seal it according to preservation standards. They also classify the flounder according to each quality level, Type A for high-end export, Type B for the domestic market, and Type C for frozen processing or packaged fillets. Each fish is labeled with a traceability label, clearly stating the time of fishing, the coordinates of the fishing location, and the name of the ship. This work not only helps increase the commercial value but also meets the strict traceability requirements of demanding markets such as Japan, Europe, and the US. On the way back, the ship may stop at some floating quarantine stations in the middle of the sea to take quick samples for chemical residues, microorganisms or parasites if the flounder products are expected to be exported abroad immediately upon arrival at the port. After a hard day's work, the fishing team is divided into shifts to rest and eat, while a small group continues to monitor the voyage and maintain the ship's operating system. When approaching the port, the captain notifies the port station, the purchasing company and the logistics department to prepare a refrigerated truck, documents and personnel to receive the goods. The ship usually arrives at dawn to deliver fresh fish on the same day, at which time all the fishermen coordinate with the loading team to move the fish from the hold to the refrigerated truck, completing the fishing process and handing over the products. After the trip, they will have a few days to rest before starting to prepare for the next sea trip, continuing the persistent journey to the open sea, with long fishing lines and valuable flounders deep at the bottom of the ocean. After completing the halibut handover at the port, the fishing team enters a short but important rest period to recover their strength and plan for the next fishing trip. During this time, they often visit their families or stay in the dormitory near the port, which has full basic living facilities and equipment maintenance areas. The captain and the technical team conduct a complete inspection of the ship's condition, especially the long fishing line system, including reels, hooks, lead lines, marker buoys and positioning devices. Hooks that are bent, rusted or worn due to repeated use will be completely replaced, while frayed or broken fishing lines will be cut off or reconnected using a special knotting technique to ensure absolute safety when going out to sea. At the same time, the logistics team will go shopping for bait, mainly fresh fish that are chilled or frozen, carefully selected to suit the taste of flounder, a bottom fish that moves little but is extremely cunning and picky. In addition, fishermen also prepare auxiliary supplies such as ropes, non-slip gloves, bait boxes, fish removal tools and new protective suits to be ready to face the harsh conditions of the sea. Before the day of departure, all members will meet to hear the plan again, assign specific tasks and undergo mandatory health checks according to maritime safety regulations. Once everything is ready, they board the ship again, departing at dawn when the port is still misty and the waves gently lapping against the boat's side. The new journey begins with familiar sounds, the low rumble of the engine, the final check of the line, the radio exchange between the ship and the control station, all blending into a rhythm typical of offshore flounder fishing. It can be said that longline flounder fishing is not only a simple job to make a living, but also an art that requires an understanding of hydrology, the biological habits of fish. The smooth coordination between people and machines, as well as a resilient spirit to overcome the storms. Each flounder pulled up is not only a material achievement but also a testament to the intelligence, skills and courage of those who live with the sea. And despite facing dangers from storms, technical problems or the depletion of marine resources due to overexploitation, fishermen still do not give up. Still persevere with the longline profession, a traditional profession, full of sustainability, being preserved as an indispensable part of humanity's marine culture for longline flounder fishermen. Each trip to sea is not only a cycle of work, but also a continuation of tradition, pride and courage. During the days drifting in the middle of the ocean, they are not alone. Each member on board becomes an important link in a complex chain of operations, from the person watching the engine, the person tying the bait, the person dropping the line, the person observing the GPS system to the person directly pulling the line to collect the fish. All work together in harmony like a machine that has been honed through hundreds of times at sea. Especially on days when the sea is rough, the waves are high and the wind is strong, the line retrieval becomes extremely dangerous. Just a hook that pops up too hard, or a large flounder that thrashes too hard, can cause serious injury to people standing nearby. Therefore, all operations must be precise and strictly follow safety procedures. Newcomers often have to spend months or even years to master how to handle the fishing line, tie the bait properly, or recognize the slight jerks in the handle, a signal that a flounder is biting the bait. In the thick darkness or the faint twilight, the lights from the boat shine down on the water. Creating shimmering streaks of light, where each hook lies quietly close to the seabed, like invisible traps waiting for prey. Sometimes it takes hours for the line to tighten, signaling that the flounder is hooked. And at that moment, the whole boat seems to wake up. Everyone takes their positions, pulls the line evenly, eyes on each section of line being pulled up. Hands ready with pliers and gloves, mouths shouting rhythmically to each other. When pulled up, the flounder is often silent for a few seconds and then suddenly thrashes violently. Some weighing nearly 50 kilograms, with flat bodies, wide and sharp mouths. Just a little carelessness can cause them to hit their legs, arms or fall off the deck. Therefore, when the fish just comes out of the water, one person immediately uses a specialized pole to hook the fish and pull it up to the floor, while the other person removes the hook. controls the fish's head and quickly puts it in the container. There are days of bumper harvests. Every line has fish. The deck is soaked with water and has a strong fishy smell. But there are also trips that return empty-handed. The hook is empty or the bait is completely eaten by small fish. However, the fishermen are not discouraged. They learn from each failure, adjust their techniques, change the bait, and even study the tides, currents and weather to choose a more effective fishing spot for the next trip. In their world, the ocean is a strict but fair teacher, ready to reward those who persevere, understand the sea and respect the rules of nature. Longline flounder fishing is a journey of tranquility, ingenuity and perseverance, where each time the line is pulled up, it is a test of the patience and survival skills of the seafarer in addition to technique and tenacity. Sustainability is increasingly being emphasized by fishermen in their long-line flounder fishing journeys. Unlike industrial fishing methods such as bottom trawling, which damage marine ecosystems and catch unwanted species, long lines allow for specific bait selection, timing, and depth, thereby minimizing bycatch and limiting the destruction of flounder habitats. Some boats also install seabird repelling devices to prevent birds from diving after the bait and getting caught on the hooks, one of the alarming problems in offshore fishing. In addition, the use of circle hooks, stainless steel hooks, and durable but non-toxic lines are also innovative changes that help improve the quality of flounder caught while protecting the ocean. Not only are they workers, fishermen also become silent protectors of the ocean. People who clearly understand that if they exploit it to the fullest today, the ocean will have nothing left to give them tomorrow. On the boat, on quiet nights in the middle of the ocean, when the fishing lines have been dropped and everything is quiet, fishermen often gather together, sharing life stories, valuable experiences accumulated over years of storms. They talk about the sudden cold water that signals the appearance of a large school of fish, about the memorable pulls that tore their gloves, or about a time when they escaped death in a storm at sea thanks to their team spirit. Those conversations, though simple, are a strong bond between men who make a living by the sea, where every trip faces risks but is also full of hope. When dawn breaks, the first rays of sunlight shine on the dewy deck, a new working day begins. Hands wrap bait, drop lines, pull hooks up from hundreds of meters deep, and no one knows whether today will be a bountiful or quiet day. But for them, that is not as important as continuing to live with the sea, making a living on the vast water surface, where each flounder not only has economic value but is also a symbol of the resilience, patience and never-ending faith of those who work in the middle of the ocean. And when the ship docks, each fish brought ashore is not only the product of a profession, but the result of an arduous, diligent and proud journey of true fishermen, those who are preserving the silent beat of the ocean. Through each long fishing line stretched between the waves returning to the mainland after a long sea trip, flounder fishermen not only bring back their catch but also bring with them the breath of the ocean, clinging to each set of damp, salty clothes, each hand tanned and calloused from pulling the line, tying the hook, and handling live fish. Those who have been in the profession for a long time often do not talk much about hardships. They just sit quietly by the port. watching their boat rest, silently calculating for the next trip. That is the profession of flounder fishing with long lines, quiet, hard, but precious, admirable, because it is not for those who lack patience or do not truly love the sea. Each trip is a new lesson. Sometimes a lesson on how to handle a giant fish caught with 2 hooks. Sometimes the experience of avoiding strong ocean currents that break the line. And sometimes recognizing a dead area of water, where there are no fish at all despite seemingly perfect conditions. These things are not taught in books. Only by the sea. And fishermen learn with their own sweat, blood, tears and quiet pride. As time goes by, longline flounder fishing is increasingly valued, because it maintains the superior quality of fish meat, firm, white meat, not bruised like fish caught by nets.